Heracross fires the Rock Blast Noctowl, saving its shields. We're going to rely on Salazzle, and it is Trevenant in the back. This little tree is getting absolutely cooked. We go straight for the Poison Fang. Trevenant shits its pants, puts up a shield. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We do not shield double resisted moves on this channel. So, welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. Yes, you can see Salazzle is not a Shadow Pokemon. I've been making content for around 18 months, and this is the first time I've ever used a non-Shadow Pokemon in GBL all the way since Season 6. Season 7, I did not make Legend, only using Shadow Pokemon, and ever since I have done that 5 times on the bounce, but this last season is absolutely bullshit. We had Catch Cup and Open Master League. I needed Dust, so I did make a really fun team. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see Guzzlord in the lead. This does look like somewhat of a menace. This big Ultra Beast is not going to appreciate the Sky Attack. The opponent lets it go. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. I'm going to catch the Dragon Claw on my safe switch of Steelix, and Steelix tanks it like an absolute boss. The opponent now brings in Runerigus. Somewhat of a questionable play, as we have access to Crunch, and I'm going straight for the Crunch. The opponent goes for a Sandtomb. That might be super effective, but Steelix says that did nothing. Steelix returns fire with the Crunch. The opponent puts up a shield. This Sandtomb will not knock out, and I am going to be able to debuff them with a Psychic Fang just because I'm using a very annoying Pokemon. Psychic Fangs will not knock out, but this will lower the defense of the Runerigus. Runerigus left on minimal HP. The opponent has committed a shield. We're going to come in with the Owl. Sandtomb resisted. Shadow Ball also resisted. Noctowl sitting in a sweet spot. The opponent fires off the Sandtomb, lowering our defense, but Noctowl commits to the Wing Attack farm down, and holy crap, they've got Lanturn in the back. Lanturn does beat the entirety of our team, but we go straight for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball lands. We now come in to Salazzle. Salazzle doesn't have the best matchup here. Surf does hit for super effective. They resist the Incinerates, but as you already know, no baits on this channel. We go straight for the Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse lands. The opponent's probably thinking, fuck my life, back out. Comes Guzzlord. We're going to fire off the Poison Fang. As soon as we get it, Poison Fang is enough to take care of Guzzlord, and the opponent can save that shield for Season 13. I can safely shield this up. The Incinerate, even though it is resisted, is going to be enough to take this game. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Scrafty in the lead. The opponent safe switches into Toxapex, and we answer with Steelix. Steelix is a ground type. Brine is super effective, but let's not kid ourselves. Toxapex is super defense weighted with an attack stat of around -1, and Steelix shrugs off the Brine, returns fire with the super effective Psychic Fangs. That also doesn't do a great deal of damage, but it does lower the opponent's defense. We're going to fire off Psychic Fang number 2, and we've actually got Toxapex pretty low. You can see we can tank this next Brine, as Brine absolutely sucks. Steelix shrugs it off, and we commit to the Dragon Tail farm down. Steelix leaves with the Psychic Fang. Much like Nidoqueen, Steelix is going to be one of the most annoying Pokemon in the meta. It's just going to continue to spam out debuff moves. Scrafty tanks the Psychic Fang. We come back in to the Owl. I look to CMP tie to the Foul Play. Foul Play isn't going to do a whole lot. Knocked out. Super bulky. When Season 13 drops later today, Noctowl is going to be a real menace. It's already pretty good. It's getting a Wing Attack buff. I do believe it's going to be a Powder Snow clone. We'll have to wait and see, but the opponent has their own Noctowl in the back, and I'm just going to spam out some Poison Fangs. First Poison Fang lands. We've still got 2 shields. We can safely shield this up. Noctowl is getting quite low. I do attempt to fire the Poison Fang. It looks like I am getting a cheeky refund, so fuck it. I am going to shield up the next Sky Attack, commit to the Incinerate farm down. Scrafty is going to have absolutely nowhere to run. I'm going to fire off the Poison Fang. The opponent can let the first one go. We are so far ahead in energy, I can just fire off Poison Fang number 2. This one will be forcing the last shield. I can then switch out into my Noctowl. The opponent can fire the Foul Play, but we've already seen Foul Play isn't going to knock out the Owl, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Toxapex in the lead. It's the battle of the 2 bulky Pokemon, and as someone who only uses Shadow Pokemon, this isn't a matchup that I am used to seeing. It's essentially 2 people tap on their phone, waiting around 6 years to see who is the winner. I bank all that energy switch out into Steelix. We are going to tank this Brine. I am worried the opponent is going to attempt to catch a Psychic Fang on something that resists it, and that's exactly the play that the opponent does. They bring in Ferrothorn. We are going to fire off the Crunch. Crunch lands. For a respectable amount of damage, let's not kid ourselves, Steelix is a tank with a pretty shit attack stat itself. The opponent fires off the power whip, Steelix survives, fires off crunch. Number 2, fishing for that ever important defense drop. We don't get it. The opponent actually fires off a charge move. I believe this is a mirror shot as it's too quick. For a power whip, it is the mirror shot, and now we do know that Salazzle resists absolutely everything. I enter the battlefield with the Salazzle commit to the Incinerate farm down. We've got a Poison Fang. Good to go. The opponent hanging on to 2 shields, and I don't take my own advice. I go for the Poison Fang and Snorlax lets it go. They now reset the debuff, switch back out into Toxapex. I bank a Dragon Pulse for the road and switch back out into the owl. We are going to start unleashing Sky Attacks. The opponent shields the first. I've still got 2 shields, and I'm thinking, holy shit, I probably should start using them. We actually allow the brine to go through, and we are going to put this all on Salazzle because let's not kid ourselves, that's the Pokemon that I want to use after finally hatching a good one. We go straight for the Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse does knock out Toxapex, and now we are sitting in a tricky spot. I've got 2 shields. I am just going to start unleashing the debuffs, hoping that I don't get licked down. First Poison Fang goes unshielded. I am going to have to Incinerate, farm down, but you can see the 5-turn move means Snorlax survives on 1 HP and a dream. GG's to that opponent. Moving on to the next battle, we see Steelix in the lead. I save switch into my own Steelix, and the opponent hard counters us with a Buzzwold. Buzzwold, however, is going to get hit for super effective with the Psychic Fangs. I am not shielding this up. If the opponent throws a lunge, they're a fucking idiot, and this opponent evidently is an idiot. No disrespect, but why would you lunge me? Superpower would have knocked out, and obviously I've got no intentions of shielding up my save switch. The opponent has got himself in a real mess. They have gone down 2 shields to maintain some sort of alignment. As if the first lunge wasn't a poor play, the opponent fires off a second lunge. I just reset my debuff, come in to Salazzle and his Toxapex in the back. I'm learning from my mistakes. We're going straight for the Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse gets Toxapex down to around 66% HP. I am going to shield up the first brine and look to get off. Dragon Pulse, number 2. Salazzle generating energy super quickly. We do fire off the second Dragon Pulse. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. They're now left deep in the red. The opponent does dump their energy, and we're going to put it all on the big fat owl. Owl into Steelix isn't the best matchup, especially before the wing attack buff. You're going to see that owl is a menace. We go straight for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball does land. The opponent is unshielded. This is just a Psychic Fang. I'm not going to shield the first. Noctowl shows its bulk. We survive. Can we make the next Shadow Ball? I'm getting super low on HP, but who was fucking worried? Noctowl makes Shadow Ball. Number 2, down goes Steelix. Back out comes Toxapex, and Noctowl cleans up in style. Moving on to the next one. We see Shadow Swampert in the lead. The backline absolutely doesn't want to see Shadow Swampert, so I suppose I am going to stay in with the owl. The opponent attempts to make a catch on Skarmory, and we answer with Steelix. Steelix does resist absolutely everything from the opponent. I'm going straight for the Crunch. Crunch is going to land for respectable damage. The opponent is farming up a whole boatload of energy, but I really couldn't give a shit what they throw. The opponent fires the Sky Attack. The next one will be the Brave Bird. I'm going to look to fire off the Crunch. Before they get there, the opponent actually wins CMP. I wasn't sure who wins, but now I know Steelix doesn't beat Skarmory in CMP. I go for the Undercharge on the Crunch. I'm going to look to Dragon Tail, farm them down. The opponent switches out into Ninetales, and we are going to go for a debuff. Psychic Fangs doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but we do get the ever important debuff. I now come in to Salazzle. We are going to fire off the Poison Fang, debuff them for the second time. This gets the Ninetales deep into the red. I've got no intentions of shielding up my Salazzle. The opponent goes for an overheat. We survive on 1 HP and a dream. The 5-turn move doesn't register. The opponent manages to fire spin, farm us down, as Ninetales is double debuffed on defense. 1 wing attack takes him out. The opponent is going to need to come back in with the Swampert. I go straight for the Sky Attack as the opponent is switch locked. First Sky Attack draws a shield. Mod Shot is doing absolutely nothing, so I can safely shield this move up. The opponent goes for the Hydro Cannon. You are going to see the opponent attempts to make a catch. I don't fall for it. I wing attack, farm him down. I'm already legend, so you are going to see I'm going to get the opponent's final shield with a Sky Attack, and I'm actually going to go for a nice. I was going to give this opponent a free win. I gave out a whole load of free wins. I attempt to leave the opponent on 1 HP and the dream. You can see I do stop attacking. This Hydro Cannon is going to take us out. It's going to be Mod Shot versus Dragon Tail. I was expecting the opponent to Mod Shot me down on accidentally win. Sorry, Mr. Opponent. Rather than just top lefting, I do like to make players sweat a little bit, at least put a smile on their face, but I did think I ballsed that up. I did expect Mudshot to take me out, but Steelix, with its huge bulk, did actually manage to survive on 1 HP and a dream. But in the next battle, we see Trevenant in the lead. The opponent safe switches into Skarmory and we hard punish him. With Steelix, we saw this matchup in the last battle. Steelix sitting in a pretty sweet spot. Once again, I do lose CMP to the Brave Bird. I'm going to go for an undercharge, look to leave with a Psychic Fang. However, it looks like this Skarmory has really terrible IVs. I hit hardly any bubbles and they still get taken out. I actually hit less bubbles than the last match. It is what it is. The opponent has Heracross in the back. This opponent was also an expert, so I did intend to give them a free win. I am going to not shield anything whatsoever. The win con for the opponent is going to be to Shadow Ball my Salazzle. Let's see if they play out their win con. We go straight for the Sky Attack. That draws the final shield from the opponent. Rock Blast is going to take me out. Salazzle is going to Incinerate, farm down, and the opponent just has to throw the Shadow Ball. I reach the Poison Fang. This is going to get the tree shit in its pants. They are going to commit the final shield. The opponent is 2 Shadow Claws away from the Shadow Ball. This is a double resisted Seed Bomb. We're going to show no respect, and just because they threw the wrong move, we're going to Incinerate, farm down the remainder of the team, and that is a good game. Moving on to the next one. We see Ferrothorn in the lead. Flying is neutral due to Grass Taking super effective and still resisting, but stay in school, kids. Learn to count as 5 bullet seeds to the Thunder, and the opponent isn't baiting. Steelix shrugs it off. The opponent is going to look to stay in and fire off the neutral Power Whip. Power Whip lands for respectable damage. I am holding on to my energy in case the opponent looks to catch. They don't catch, so I am going to throw the Crunch. Crunch lands for respectable damage. The opponent is going to have to dump the remainder of their energy, and I'm just going to stack the Steelix completely. The opponent takes me out with a Power Whip. I'm going to wait out my full timer, look to come in with Salazzle and get ahead on energy. 1 Incinerate, 2 Incinerates, high Ferrothorn, bye Ferrothorn. It's only 2 Incinerates to each Poison Fang, even when they put the energy requirement up to 40, which I imagine is the debuff that they're going to do. It's still only going to be 2 Incinerates, as each Incinerate gives you 20 energy. In the back, the opponent has a Lanturn. I am just going to spam out Poison Fang after Poison Fang. Last time I did go for the Dragon Pulse. However, the opponent has 2 shields and I had a huge energy lead, so I'm going to be that super annoying debuff Pokemon. The opponent has Scrafty in the back, and we answer with Noctowl. Super far ahead on energy. I go for the first Sky Attack. Sky Attack draws a shield from the opponent. I believe this is just a power-up punch. So obviously, I am not shielding. Power-up punch does absolutely nothing. We're already at Sky Attack. Number 2, the opponent is going to be forced to commit the final shield to keep Scrafty alive, and that is exactly what they do. This, again, is a power-up punch. Mr. Opponent, at least build to the foul play. Noctowl takes neutral from counter, but that really isn't enough damage. The opponent tries their luck with a triple boosted power-up punch. Noctowl still survives. Sky Attack is going to take care of Scrafty. We're sitting in the dream spot. I switch out into Salazzle. I can safely shield up the Surf. We've got the Dragon Pulse. Good to go. And Dragon Pulse is going to be more than enough to take this game. GG's and thanks for playing. So if you were one of the opponents that was still an expert when you played me in the last few days, you would know if you go for the Hail Mary hashtag I'm not baiting, despite whether I had shields or not, you would actually win, because that is your win con, landing the nuke. I'm trying to encourage players not to bait so often. So like if that last opponent went for a foul play, they would have actually won. It is what it is. In the next battle, we see Ninetales in the lead. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count his 6 charms to the Weather Wall. I catch it on Steelix. The opponent then answers with Sableye. They tank the Crunch, commit to the Shadow Claw, farm down. Sableye has enough energy for a return. I've got no intention of shielding up Noctowl. I'm just going to commit to the Wing Attack, farm down. Noctowl super thick, does Wing Attack, farm down. I'm spamming out Salazzle with 2 shields. Let's see if Salazzle can close this game. Salazzle enters the arena and it's Kofa Grigus in the back. So like I said earlier in the video, the only win con is landing the Hail Mary. I go straight for it, playing up my win con. The opponent shows no respect, and that is pretty much going to be all she wrote. I can safely shield up whatever the opponent throws. They go for the Dark Pulse. I Incinerate, farm them down. We've got the Poison Fang bank. This Poison Fang is going to draw a shield from the opponent. but these Incinerates are going to absolutely tear through the opponent. The opponent is going to be forced to shield up the second Poison Fang, and this is going to be the wham bam combo play. We banked all that energy on Noctowl. We might have minimal HP, but Shadow Ball is going to seal the deal. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Shadow Dragonite in the lead. One of my favourite Great League Pokemon. It's super squishy, however hits like an absolute truck. Dragon Claw gets us down into the yellow. I save switch into Steelix, and the opponent answers with Sableye. Dragon Tail really chunking, foul play, hits pretty hard. We are going to go straight for the crunch. Crunch is neutral, Psychic Fang would be resisted, so I don't bait. We land the crunch, we get the defense drop. I could Dragon Tail, farm them down. The opponent is now going to be forced to show their third. They really can't return with Dragonite, and the opponent's final Pokemon is Galarian Stunfisk, and holy crap, we are absolutely fucked. We land the crunch, the opponent is going to be able to mud shot, farm us down. They actually throw a rock slide, but either way, we are pretty fucked. The fire type Incinerates are going to hit Stunfisk for super effective, but both Mud Shot, Rock Slide and Earthquake all hit us for super effective. The opponent throws at poor time and they switch out into Dragonite. I bank a boatload of energy, switch out into the Alp. I'm just going to get Dragon Breath to farm down. The opponent did shield the first. Can we make the next Sky attack? We cannot. We've got the Poison Fang locked and loaded. The opponent is probably going to shield, which they do. They're at the Dragon Claw. I am going to shield. The only realistic win con I have is incinerating down a dragon. We don't make it. And that is all she wrote. GG's to that opponent. So those were the battles with Noctowl, Salazzle and Shadow Steelix. This is the first time I've used regular Pokemon in a few years. Noctowl, pretty good. Salazzle, pretty fun. Shadow Steelix, an absolute monster. However, normal service will resume when Season 13 drops. We are going to continue to only use Shadow Pokemon. Look to reach Legend for the 6th season on the bounce. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on the channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below. I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.